This is simply the price you get for having a viable opposition, okay? A position that when the party in power is not able to do what is needed as required and as at when due and what's actually well pressed in the heart of people, the opposition will do a kick in and push them to do it. The liberals, of course, are in power, and the conservative, like you can see Pierre Poilievre speaking out loud and saying this is the time for them to push for the castle law to come into place to defend Canadians.
Based on the principle that your home is your castle, we're calling on the government to introduce and immediately pass the Stand on Guard law, failing which one of our party's MPs will put forward such a bill. It will amend Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code, which right now says that you can defend yourself based on 9 very complicated and vague conditions. Now look, if you're defending your house, you don't have time to think through 9 different conditions. You have one condition.
Correct.
To protect yourself and your kids.
Yes.
And it is wrong for the law, for the police, and for judges to apply a complicated, indecipherable legal doctrine against you when you were only doing what is right. Our amendment instead will change Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code to say that the use of force, including lethal force, is presumed reasonable against an individual who unlawfully enters a house and poses a threat to the safety of anyone inside. The proposed amendment is reasonable and prudent. It applies only to the unlawful entry of a home and preserves proportionality. Simply put, it means you have the right to use force to defend your home and your family against someone who threatens you and who has entered illegally.
It's unimaginable that someone will force him or herself into your home, and then you cannot protect yourself, you cannot defend your family, because there are laws. You have to think about 9 laws that prevents you from doing that. You know, it's unimaginable. So it's the best thing that can happen to this aspect of the law, that be switched, okay? Because for those of you who does not know the background of the whole story, a young man bashed into another man's house, and the man forcefully evicted him. In the process, he possibly sustained some injuries, and then he was charged to court by the police for using excessive force on somebody that intruded into his house uninvited. Okay, so since I've heard that over the weeks, I've not been happy about it, and as a Canadian, I would be happy if something is done as promptly as possible over it. And hearing people here who is not even in power speak about it, why McCartney, who is there with his cabinet and all, has not done anything about it, even after the Premier of Ontario spoke about this issue vigorously, because he couldn't fathom how somebody would break into another person's house, and then you are restricted by law to stop the person from destroying you and your family, you know. So it really doesn't make sense. And if this is what the castle law is going to take care of, please let it kick in already. Let it kick in already. I'm not a fan of Pierre Poilievre, neither am I a fan of McCartney, but I'm a fan of good laws. I'm a fan of good policies, and I'm a fan of preemptiveness. I'm a fan of speed. Something is happening. Something needs to be done. The populace are complaining about something. You say something about it, you kickstart the process. Do not wait. Do not wait and be pushed. Then you allow your opponent to score a cheap point. This is the more reason why your opponent, of course, will do what? Get more likes and more followership. Because why? You saw something which is dear to the heart of Canadians, and you won't pick up on it and act on it and fix it and move on to another thing. It's not just about fixing tariff with the US tariff here and there. There are other things. Canadians needs to be alive first to enjoy tariffs or no tariffs. Thank you.